was a disaster. No, it was impossible.
I think the steel ones are going to be really hard.
I don't think I have the dexterity.
It's totally fine.
Aesthetically, they're very pleasing, the steel chopstick.
I don't want to be the kind of foreigner that people are handing me the fork and the spoon.
My friends, if I use chopsticks in front of them,
Like, you're so good at them.
yeah, it's impossible.
I hate to eat with fork. I was 5. I took one. That was my first experience.
At first, when I was younger, I used to have lots of difficulty using Korean chopsticks, and trying to pick up food, everything just kept falling out of the chopsticks and made it really difficult to the point where you just have to get a spoon and eat it. But now, the more I practice, the easier it gets. And I think it's more fun to eat with chopsticks than like forks, what we do back home.
Being in America, it's super impressive to be able to use chopsticks. So all my friends, if I use chopsticks in front of them,
They're like, you're so good at them.
yes, from Korea. But like while I'm in America, I'll use chopsticks sometimes. Both wood and steel. Yeah.
I can use it. I find wood easier. If I'm eating noodles and they're very slippery, just keep trying to pick it up. But yeah,
Rice is impossible. Rice is like,
rice
yeah,
with chopsticks.
same. It's too hard.
Too hard, yeah. Too small.
I always use Korean chopstick. I cannot eat any Korean food without Korean chopstick. I love it. I hate to eat with fork. And I eat with chopstick till I was 5. My cousin's father, he worked in Korea and he brought chopsticks and I was 5. And it was my first time use. The first meal was like kimchi and I took one and it flew away everywhere. And I got one carrot piece on my chopstick. That was my first experience. Yes, I'm profi. Yes, everything. Even rice.
Took me quite some time to get used to chopsticks, but you know where I'm from. I mean, whenever I'm with friends going to some Asian restaurant like that, basically we just try to use chopsticks because I mean we are trying to get the right experience. And so I'm not really good with that, but let's say I keep trying. So at least I'm able to even just not leave anything on the dish, on the plate, eat everything. So I think that's good enough for me. Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't want to be the kind of foreigner that people are just handing me the fork and the spoon and the knife. I don't want that. I mean, I want to actually be treated like a normal, regular person here. So I would love to learn how to use that properly in order to use the local customs.
I've lived in Japan for 6 months and I obviously use chopsticks then. Now when I'm home, I usually require chopsticks, we eat with it, and I also cook with chopsticks sometimes because it's a little handier. I feel like at least fork and knife are a little clunky. I use spoons a lot, but otherwise it's a little annoying to me. I mean the Japanese ones are just thin at the end and usually made of wood, but the Korean ones have a nicer feel, but they're a little harder to get used to at first. Yeah, a little. The Japanese ones are like a little easier to pick up even small stuff. With the Korean you need a bit of practice, I think, personally. Yeah. At the beginning, but it gets easier.
So when I went to Korea last time, I tried using the Korean chopsticks and they were so much more slippery than normal chopsticks. They're so long and they're mostly metallic instead of wood. So it's so much harder to grab things with them, and it always my fingers wouldn't work with it sometimes. Yeah, I find them easier to use. I will practice. I will be better. I think I've gotten better.
It's very hard. When I was eating from the chopstick, I was like, ugh, it was always falling in the plate. I couldn't even hold it. It's so hard because I'm not used to chopsticks. Even when I got Chinese, I'm like, and then it drops on the floor and everything, and I can't really do anything. No success. I can't actually find forks. I'm still practicing how to eat from chopsticks.
So my experience with chopsticks, Korean chopsticks in particular, is that it's quite slippery. I've only experienced with wooden chopsticks from Japan. So when I once went to a restaurant and I tried, it worked out in the end, but I was like, whoa, that's kind of slippery.
Yeah, I like aesthetically, they're very pleasing, the steel chopsticks. It's like, oh, this is nice, so sleek, so smooth, so easy to clean. But then in using them, yeah, it's more difficult. Korean restaurants mostly. We lived in Japan before and now live in Vietnam, so we eat Korean food somewhat often. More difficult than plastic or wooden chopsticks. Yeah, definitely.
And I will try my best.
No, I have just used it since I was young. You know, my eldest sister was the one who got me into like the Korean drama and stuff, and she's the one like who would always like say, "Let's try ramen, the chopstick." So I started to use it since I was a child, and for me now it's pretty much expert in it. Yeah. Yeah, I have it at home. I use it all the time. Yeah, whenever I eat ramen or noodles, to be honest. Yes, but I'm not expert enough to use it when I eat rice. To be honest, this one is hard. Yeah,
I've tried the Korean chopstick yesterday. It was not like round. It was kind of like flat a little bit and metallic. It was a bit more difficult than the regular one, but I can do that.
To my knowledge, I have never used Korean chopsticks. I know there are a difference between them. I use Japanese chopsticks efficiently. Those are fine. My best friend, her sister, needs the little helper for them.
Those. Yeah, I cannot do it. I don't think I have the dexterity.
I spent, I think, 15 minutes one time just helping her hand placement, trying to get her to, she just doesn't have the grip strength. She can't do it. Yeah, it's totally fine. I'm in the medical field, so I have very good dexterity. I think that helps. I'm a nurse, yes. No, I don't think I've used steel. Maybe we're about to get dinner. Maybe we'll go and look for some steel chopsticks and give it a shot. If we see you again, we'll report back.
Korean chopstick is stainless steel, right? I like because the shape is unique. So I have easy to use it. Sometimes when I eat noodle or some kimchi, we have buy in Indonesia. So much food Korea too. Usually when we use K-drama, when they eating ramyeon, so we will eat ramyeon too. No. Yes, rice, so noodle also.
So when I came here, I had never used them before, and first I had a bit of trouble because they were slippery. Yeah? But then I bought a pair. I bought just the steel ones, and I've been using them a lot in the Netherlands because they're really easy to clean. So whenever I eat like something, I'll eat with Korean chopsticks. Yeah, and my roommate also uses them a lot, so we both really like them. I have very weird technique, but it works. I like.
So yesterday we had ramen. At first it was a bit hard to hold. Every time I tried to eat it, it kept on falling on the floor and I had to keep on picking it up and stuff. But then I kind of got the hang of it. So it was kind of easy. It was really cool to use it.
It was hard to break it to 2, and I also broke it a bit differently. And it was a bit hard to get used to it, but after a while it was easy to get used to. And the ramen was very spicy.
Yes, we use Korean chopsticks, and the first time it was a disaster because they're really different from the Japanese one. They're flat, the surface, so it's really slippery. They doesn't stand really well in your hand the first time. First time I've ever ate with Korean chopsticks, I splat all the food on the table. No, it was impossible. No, I just tried again and again. Never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah, because for culture, we never give up. We always try again until we can do it. Yeah, now I can use them well. Yeah, I've gotten used to them now.
So I heard from just now, the Korean chopsticks are often made out of metal. I just got here an hour ago, so I haven't had the chance to use these. I'm currently an exchange student in Vietnam, so I'm studying in Vietnam for 6 months, and so there. But I use the wooden ones, and they're fine, and I've used the plastic ones, and they're a little worse, so I think the steel ones are going to be really hard. I think I'll be okay here, as long as it's not too slippery. Yeah, I think it's going to be slippery as well. I don't think I have the strength, but if there's wooden ones, I'll choose those. Yeah, I'll try.
I want to be clear, the Korean chopsticks, is it the metal thin ones or is it the wooden ones? Okay. That one. I think that one is a bit hard to use. I prefer the wooden one because there's more to grip, I guess. Not very used to that. I just need to get used to the steel one. Yeah, at some restaurants they would use that, even in Malaysia. Yeah, I can still use it. It's not that hard. It's okay.
It was new experience, something new for European people because we don't use it normally, but it's okay. Our trip in Korea, only 2 days in Seoul, was very good, so I think next time I'll also will be trying this. Okay.
It's very hard because yesterday I ate ramen and it's stuck together, so I broke it, but it came in a wrong shape. And so then I was like, oh no, I made my own ramen, but I put too much spicy sauce. Then when I took one bite, I was like, I'm on fire. I was like, Dad, I was like for my parents, Dad, Auntie Johnny, help me. I'm on fire. And then they started eating and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so spicy. I put all the sauce, so it was the cheesy flavor. So they was like, I'm never giving up. I'm still gonna buy ramen, but next time I'm gonna put a little spicy sauce.